man, we back, guys. Another broadcast here, the Smoking Business Podcast. Got a special guest in the house tonight. This man needs no introduction, but I'm gonna give him one anyway. You know, this gentleman is somebody I met very early in this process. I don't remember how the hell we even met. It was through somebody.
Yeah. My homegirl.
Yes.
My homegirl Mira.
Yep.
Who used to work with you in banking.
Sure did.
For those of y'all that didn't know, Brandon used to be in banking.
I used to be in banking.
He's always been about that money.
As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, so he used to be in banking, and a wonderful black woman that also was in banking and very successful.
Yep.
When she found out y'all were introducing into cannabis and doing all the 420 NJ events.
Yep.
She was like, "You should talk to my people's Corey."
Yep.
And she connected it, and then we clicked.
Instantly. But yeah, somebody I've known, obviously, guys, since way back then when I first left bank and got into cannabis. This is a gentleman that has held big dog positions at several large MSOs across the country. One of the smartest people I know in cannabis, has taught me a lot.
Oh, appreciate that.
And we'll get into that. You know, his integral part in my growth as a businessman and a cannabis businessman and all that good stuff. I'm talking about no other, the one and only Corey Jackson, my brother. What's up, man?
What's up? Peace.
Welcome to the spot, man.
Thank you.
Welcome to the spot.
So y'all don't even know. He stuck up a cafe. He got me held hostage.
Oh, man.
He done robbed some. Like, listen, it's some dudes in the corner. They look scary. And there's some other dudes that look scared. I'm just saying.
You know, we keep security around, but that's about it, guys.
Might be my last interview.
You know? Nah, man, listen, I got so much to talk to you about. But before we even get into anything, I want you to kind of just tell the people watching, man, you know, just who you are, who you were before cannabis, and what ultimately led you to cannabis.
Well, I'm a vice president of operations for a multi-state operator at MSO, major MSO. This is the third MSO I've worked for. I've been a head of state for a MSO. I've been a senior director for another MSO over every facility they had in the country. I've been a site manager, director, currently a VP. Working on adding some letters to that. But yeah, you know.
Crazy, bro.
So I've been in cannabis, legal cannabis for the past 7 years, and left real drugs to come to it. I'm an engineer by trade. I used to run a pharmaceutical facility, work in a pharmaceutical facility, and I left that. A buddy of mine that I worked with previously hit me up and was like, "Yo, I'm running for, well, they're out of business now, MedMen.
Okay.
I need you to run a facility for me." And I was like, I don't know about leaving pharma, bro. It's pretty good bread, and I'm doing all right.
Real shit.
And then he was like, no, don't worry, we'll take care of that. And so I went over, left pharma, went to MedMen, and started out as a site manager, quickly became director of the Eastern region, running back and forth between New York, Jersey, Florida, and wherever else they needed me, and then quickly proved my ability, and then was able to be a senior director of operations over all the sites in the country.
Wow.
So flying back and forth to LA or Palm Springs, Vegas, Arizona, all over the place. Just running like 7 different facilities. And then, you know, through COVID and stuff, did some other stuff. What's it called? A SME, subject matter expert.
Yep.
Overall, all the different types of stuff in operations. If it's about turning flower product into anything, whether extraction, flower, pre-roll, I'm running that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, you know.
Now, you say you come from pharma. Did that prepare you for cannabis? Like,
yeah. So, I started my career as an industrial engineer. I was working for L'Oreal.
Okay.
And I did that, and then the 2009 when the economy went to shit.
Yep.
And everybody lost their job. That I was part of that.
Okay.
So jumped around a little bit. Worked in I ran a facility that made Garnier Fructis, L'Oreal Kids, waxes, pomades, all that stuff, high speed cosmetics lines.
Okay.
And then I ran a facility that made HVACs.
Okay.
Out in Trenton. So those in Trenton know that spot. Big facility, ran night shift, off shifts. I was just whatever job I could get at the time. Mm-hmm. Ran a paint facility, making Rust-Oleum paint and so buckets of paint, but also shellac.
Okay.
And then finally got into a nutraceutical company. So we were making tablets, capsules, protein powders, doing a lot of white labeling.
For sure.
And third-party packaging. So like making product for the bigger name vitamin brands that you know.
For sure.
And did that for years, but got to the point it was a privately owned company. So I was reporting to the dude that owned it. Mm-hmm. So it was nowhere to go. So, I'm reporting to the dude that owns the place, and I'm not even, I think might have been just 30. And so he wasn't even feeling that I was over all of operations in the building. So 70% of this company reported to me.
Yeah.
I'm reporting to the dude that owns the place. There's no upward mobility opportunity. And every time, we do certain things, I'm hitting him over the head. Need more money. Pay me.
Yeah.
So he wasn't thrilled about how much he was paying me. And I knew there was nowhere to go. So really, it was just a game of how much money can I make until I find another gig.
Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Was that a hard jump for you at that time, going from pharma to, you mentioned kind of like the money was good, all that kind of stuff. Were you nervous, like, can I be successful doing this?
No, because the reality is once you get into CPG, consumer products and goods, what we're making doesn't matter anymore. Right? Right? Like, it's equipment. I know equipment. I'm an engineer by trade. I've been working in CPG my whole career.
Yep.
And then the rest of it is managing a facility, managing people. It don't matter what you're actually making, right? Now, obviously, they're specialized, before people get all on me, there's specialized fields for certain different things. But I've worked in cosmetics, paint, HVAC, which HVAC is basically like running a steel mill because they're pressing everything. I've worked in nutraceutical, pharmaceutical, food and beverage, and cannabis.
Wow.
So I've made most things, with the exception of medical devices, which I did intern in medical devices in college. But I've made most things. So I don't care what equipment, I don't care what we make. It's managing people, process, and the facility itself.
I love
right?
it.
So that's really what mattered to me. So like, for me, it's more like, all right, what am I getting paid? I go check out the place so I know what the bandwidth that I require to do it, and does the pay equal that bandwidth?
Love it. No, I love it, man. Like what I love the most about this story is that you not only had the guts, the fortitude to switch industries like that, but to do it, get to MedMen and get those promotions so rapidly. What was that like? What were you doing? Why were you moving so fast? Like,
well, really, it's the reality is I work hard, and I expect those that work for me to work hard, but I also always plan to take care of those that work for me. Like, it's similar like Bill Belichick in the NFL, right?
okay.
Like, you can feel however you feel about Bill Belichick, the Patriots, whatever, but he did what he did, and he created a tree, right? And from his tree, you have all these other coaches from Vrabel and all these other dudes that came from him. They came from the Bill Belichick tree. So for me, my legacy, or what I would like it to be when I'm done, is the tree I've grown, right? So your tree just can't be you. It can't just be one stalk. It's got to have branches on it.
1,000%.
So I work the shit out of my people, but I also go to bat for them. I'm also putting in for raises for them, promotions for them. Like, it's people on my tree that have the same job title as me. It's people that run facilities, that run whole director of regions and VPs of different things, people that have used what they learned under me and then went and started their own businesses, right? And actually know how to manage people and do things like that. So my tree is the most important thing to me. So when I come in a place, I'm looking at who's the staff and what do they do and what are the roles that this place requires. Because if you can't do it, you got to go, and then I'm going to call my tree and pull somebody in. And that's the other part, too. I've rehired plenty of my past employees to fill in gaps along the way and hopefully move them up. You know, like, hey, where are you at? What's your title? What you making? I got a role here, making more, or a title that's better. Let's go.
For sure.
And then they know how I move, so they come and we handle what we handle. It's like, it's the same way like you move. Like, you see, you and Stan, of course, and then you got a couple other cats and people that you always keep with you, no matter what y'all doing. Even when y'all flying across the country to other places, it's like, oh, there's the crew, right? Like, I'm the same way. When I show up at a facility and I got to do a job, I'm calling the crew. Hey, this dude that's running operations, he ain't gonna make it. Got to replace him. Hey, this dude that's running supply chain, he not gonna make it. I got to replace him. Hey, I got people that are procurement people, that are buyers. You got a job right now? What you making? I need a new procurement person. I'm about to bring you in, right? And you just bring your team with you along the way. So all of us move up together, and then underneath them, they got their own trees now.
Man, what I've always loved about you, Corey, and just hearing this insight is really opening my eyes to it even more. You're somebody that really wants to promote the people you work with, build those relationships, but you're also 100% no nonsense in that you're not going to do it unless you actually deserve it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a part that cats get cross-mingled too often, where like, all right, I want to bring the crew with me. I want to go and show my friends this and that. But if you're not doing your role better than anyone else I can have do your role, I'm gonna have somebody else do your role.
Yeah, like one, I've had to have the reason that like I said, I bring my crew with me is because one, they already know how I roll, and we can have some closed door conversations. Because sometimes there's like you have to speak when you get to a certain level, especially in a bigger company, you got to speak a couple different languages. Now, one language is corporate language.
Yep.
Right. When you're on the phone, when you're on calls and you got the CEO on there and the head of HR and investors or the president or the owner of the company, that's a different language than when you're in a factory or a manufacturing site and you're talking to your employees, right? It's a different way you speak. It's a different way you carry yourself, right? Especially if it's a unionized facility. And then there's another conversation or language, which is how I talk to my managers, my directors underneath me behind closed doors. Hey, bro, get over here. Y'all fucking up. Like, we need to get it together. Like, and I never embarrass them in public. I always agree with them when we out and, yep, I agree with that. Yep. And
sure.
we get it, hey, that was the wrong decision, dog. Right? I got you, but just know that probably by tomorrow we're going to have to flip our decision on that.
For sure.
Right? And so it's gearing them up for like, here's why it was wrong. Here's what I would have done. Right? But I also give the people that work for me the opportunity to fail. I tell my main thing I tell anyone is have a high batting average. I'm not expecting you to knock it out the park every time, but have a high batting average, right? Be right more than you're wrong. I can deal with that. I can deal with someone that's learning and that just has a high batting average. What I can't deal with is mediocrity. Like if you can't toe the line, if you can't get it done, we got to get other people in here that can get it done.
For sure.
Because it's not just about you, right? It's about the whole team, not just about me. We got something to deliver to the company, so I can go back and say we need more bread.
Yeah. Now, where do you think that level of leadership? You talk about a lot right there, right? I want to unpack that. You talk about just obviously just being firm but fair, being honest with people. Even the piece you mentioned about someone screws up and you're in front of folks, you don't say nothing right then and there.
No.
You wait till you get back behind closed doors. And then the level of leadership that gets overlooked so much. Where I got to be the kind of leader where we're in the mix with another CEO, I can run the show.
Yeah.
The kind of leader where it's just us in the room, I can run the show. Kind of leader, you got some personal shit going on, you can talk to me one-on-one, and I'm gonna lead that show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like where, like you said, you had an engineering background. I'm just trying to figure out where does that level of leadership come from?
I think it comes. Well, I had a story. My grandmother. So when I ran this facility in Trenton, I didn't know nobody. So I come there, I start running it. I'm running the night shift, and I'm doing what I do. And one day, my grandmother calls me and goes, "Hey, I heard you're an asshole boss."
Oh man.
And I'm like confused, like, you don't even know anyone that works for me. But she did. Lo and behold, it was a woman. She actually didn't work in my department. She worked in another department.
Okay.
Older woman, and she knew my grandmom and somehow put two and two together that I was my grandmother's grandson. Right? And she had, I guess, saw my grandmom somewhere and just had said something like, yeah, your grandson is, one of the bosses there now. He's a little bit of a hard ass on people. He's hard. And my grandma told me. And I was like, all right, well, thank you for that feedback. I don't think I am, but okay. But, I appreciate that. As grandma, you can't say nothing. But then I went and found the woman.
Okay.
And I'm respectful. You respect the other. Hey, how you doing? I'm Corey. Da, da, da. I realized you know my grandma. Da, da, da. It's like, you told her I was a hard ass, like I'm a mean boss. She's like, well, that's what I heard. And I said, okay. I said, that's what you heard, though. I said, my whole thing is I say what I mean what I say, and I don't believe in being fair. I don't believe in being fair because fair is an opinion. I'm consistent. I'm never fair. I'm consistent. If I said this is the rule, that's the rule, no matter who it is. Because if I start playing favorites or your sad story, now I break my own rule, but I was being fair, right? And so I don't believe in being fair. I believe in being consistent. And I explained that to her. And I said, by the way, you always welcome to do overtime. Come over to our line, work our line. And she did a couple times. And she came back like a month or so later and comes back and goes, I was wrong about you. She's like, I actually like how you carry yourself. She's an older woman. She's more experienced. She sees, I'm just being consistent. I say what I mean what I say, but I also took care of my employees. My employees busted their butt. We had a clock that would explain how many units you've gotten so far in the shift versus the time left in the shift.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a countdown clock.
For sure.
And so my thing was our lunch breaks were only a half an hour. So I told my team, listen, if by lunch break we're up plus 40 units ahead of scale, you can have an hour lunch break.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I know y'all still going to come back and I'm going to be plus 10. So I know we're still going to hit our number. And I said, and we never going to miss our number. So the time I ran that shift, we missed our number one time. It was the first day. After that, hit our number every other day. And after about a week, I never had to leave my office because my leads would work that team. Do y'all want this hour lunch?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah.
Incentivized them.
And what it created is interdependence. So, right, not independence. So, right, you have people, your employees that have that are dependent on you. I need to see you so I can ask you what I need to do today. They can't make a decision for themselves. They're dependent. You have independent employees. I came in, I know my job, I'm doing my job. Just check me whenever you check me, but I'm in my bubble, I'm doing my job. Most people think that's great. No, the next level is interdependent. We're holding each other accountable whether the boss is here or not.
Sure.
So my team became interdependent. They govern themselves, right? It's like Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn. They police themselves, right? Like, and that's what you need. I made the rules, I made the goal, I made the outcome from the goal, that hour lunch, which people wanted. Y'all figure it out.
For sure.
And they cared more about that lunch. So at the beginning of the day, they'd come in, bust their ass, they'd be up plus 40, sometimes plus 50. They wouldn't even say anything. They'd go to lunch, and everyone on that line knew that number said it had to be plus 40 or above, and we out for an hour. And if it's not, y'all better be back in a half an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
And I only had an issue, I think, one time. My lead calls over the radio, Corey, there's no units coming down the line. What you mean there's no units? So now I'm calling down further the line, the next lead. You got units? No, there's no units hitting here in the line. Now I got to actually get up. I walk down the line. I start at the back of the line where the stuff comes off. And I'm just walking down the line until I get to a unit. When I get to a unit, it's 6 dudes sitting there. They chilling. The unit's in front of them. Yo, what are y'all doing? Yo, we like up plus 35. Figure like we just take a little break. All right, so how many of you made the decision? The 6 of you? Let's go. Walk to the front door. Y'all fired. No. Everybody on the line, no. Right? The line didn't agree with you because they called me. If the line agreed with you, that y'all could have sat there and chilled. I wouldn't have noticed. Right? The line is like, nah, bro, we got a job to do. I know what I need to do. I want that hour lunch.
For sure.
Y'all not about to mess it up. So, and now I gotta show the line that I mean what I say. So now you gotta go.
Stand on business.
So, and it's a union facility. I think 2 came back. So 4 of the 6, the fire stuck because they already had pre-writtens. Other 2 came back. But I never had to walk out on that line.
I'm about to say, the other 2 got their act together.
Yeah, and my leads, I gave them more money. I gave them promotions. I didn't use the same format the rest of the business used to promote people. I did my own test on the line. Yo, I should be promoted. Cool. Come wire the whole unit. I never worked in wire. I don't know how to wire it. You can't be a lead for me if you can't wire the unit.
For sure.
Because we were making HVAC units and heaters. You wire it wrong. You hook propane to it. That shit's a bomb. So if I can't trust you to wire a unit with your eyes closed, you can't be a lead for me. And I don't care what section of the line you a lead over. You can't be a lead for me if you can't wire that unit.
That's real.
Because all my leads can hop in the line and run a unit, test a unit, do whatever. So, like, you just learn stuff from that. But that experience of having a very young group that, like, I'm over this young group. We're in Trenton. You deal with a lot of stuff. I had people that damn near looked like they was going to OD online. I had an employee get shot. I had employees fight. I had an employee threaten me. I done had to threaten an employee, right? Like, you got to go through that to understand, like, oh, this other stuff ain't that bad. Like I'm talking about, like, you'd fire some people, and the parking lot is huge. It's a mega building, and you like, yo, I got to walk a football field to get to my car in the parking lot in the middle of Trenton at night on the 3rd shift.
For sure.
And you like, all right, here we go. Right? Or it's 2 people in there fighting. You like, am I breaking them up or not? Right? You know, or you looking at a dude, you're like, yeah, ISIS, come over here. Like, dude just hit a speedball in the bathroom when he walked into work. Right? You know, I had young girls that were single parents, and they're like, all of a sudden they start not coming to work. So I call them, why aren't you coming to work? Man, I don't want to work there no more. Yo, just fire me, Corey. Come on, fire me.
They wouldn't, yeah.
Yo, you a single mom, right? Yeah. You live at home with your parents, right? It's like, yeah. Well, if I fire you and you don't have income, who's taking care of your kid now? Like, you got your parents? No, my parents help me. Nah, no, you're not fired. Come to work. Bring your butt to work. And I wouldn't fire. I had a chick do that, and I didn't fire her for a whole month.
Oh, wow.
And she came in 2, sometimes 3 days a week. I was like, I'm not firing you. Like, you need to work. You got to figure this out. So it was just a weird situation of, like, when you do that and you're over people like that, especially non-managerial people, like, especially people like sometimes their first job, you got to be a psychologist, you got to be a parent, an older brother, a whole lot of things. You deal with a lot of people's stuff, and you got to, have the emotional capacity to deal with that.
Yeah.
But it's heavy.
I mean, you're a CEO within an organization. Like every department has its own CEO.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to treat it like such and be so overarching. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you play sports growing up?
Yeah, so I played football for a little while. Ripped my shoulder. Was like so my mother is retired from the Army.
Okay.
22 years in the Army, active duty. Served in Desert Storm, and then did 20 years in corrections after that. Single mother. So she don't play. She tiny, but she don't play.
Okay.
Right. So when I ripped my shoulder, she comes to me and she goes, and I was a good student. I had good grades and everything. And she goes, "Are you going to college off of this?" And I was like, "Well, I could." And she was like, "Are you going to the pros?" I was like, "Well, I ain't that good." And she was like, "And when you said college, is it D1?" And I was like, "Probably not." And she was like, "Guess what? You're done football." I was like, "What?" And she was like, "You have good grades. Get a scholarship for your grades. Like, what are you playing football? You're getting hurt. You're not going to go to the college you need to go to from it.
For sure.
So thank you. Like, if your grades could get you to D1, but football can't, guess which one you need to put attention to." So, and I got a James Dixon Carr Scholar to Rutgers School of Engineering.
Nice.
So that was my football career.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But I'm a professional spades player. Any of you can catch it.
Ha!
I flipped this whole table.
I'm thinking about doing a Cannabis Spades event just so.
Oh, I won already.
Okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, so when you are trained under strong women like that, my grandmother, my mother, and have strong women in your life, my wife, my little 8-year-old daughter, she don't play. Like you can't go wrong. You got to handle business a certain kind of way.
Man, I'm so glad you said that, man. Especially as black men in the space we're in. Like, I'm someone that was raised by a single mother. My ex-wife, my current girlfriend, my daughters, they really the ones that keep me together.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the mind of a woman, especially a black woman, is something that just is remarkable. And to your point, man, it's like so much of us, whether it's our upbringing, whether it's the way we carry ourselves today, is predicated on them. So I just want to just point that out. But it makes sense why you have such a diligent approach to just life, to you as a business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, anyone that's been on a call with me, they'll see my home office, my office in my home. The wall behind me is all pictures of the women in my life. That's it. There's a picture of my daughter, picture of my wife, picture of my mother, my grandmother, my godmother, my wife's sister, my wife's mother, both my wife's sisters, my half sister, my god sister. It's all black women on the wall behind me. When you speak to me on a Zoom call, you just see a mosaic of black women behind me, and they over me to remind me when I'm sitting there working what I'm doing it for.
That's hard.
Who I'm representing, and so that was important to me to like remember that is there in the office over my shoulder. Like, get it right.
Nah, bro, that's hard, man. That's hard. Speaking of getting it right, you've been getting it right for quite some time. Okay.
I've had my mistakes.
So I want to tell y'all about the first time I realized Corey was him. Okay, because he sometimes he don't talk his shit the way he needs to talk his shit. So I'm gonna talk it for him. So as Corey mentioned earlier, we meet through a mutual friend at the bank. Meet him on a Zoom call. He's talking this shit a little bit. I'm like, okay, this dude seems pretty smart. He invites me and my brother to take a road trip with him to Utica. Now, listen, I don't know Corey the way I know him now, but knowing him the way I know him now, I know this is kind of a little bit of a test, right? Because he's like, yeah, we can go to Utica, where she was working for MedMen. It's a 5-hour ride.
Yeah.
We ain't smoking in the car. Like, yeah, y'all got to really show me y'all want to actually learn something.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, of course. We were ecstatic. So we take this 5-hour road trip, man. We got to just talk and really get to know each other so well on this mission. But we get there, and these guys got shipyards full of containers.
Yeah. It's a container grows when you have a warehouse with shipping containers and you grow in them. Yeah.
I've never seen a show like this. I'm still at the point where like going to a grow is like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a shipping container like, yo, Corey, what the hell are we doing, man? We walk in this thing, man. I'll let you break it down what we were looking at, but like it was the true first time I saw concentrates being produced at a level where I said, oh shit, we might be able to do something like this and make something out of it. And I credit you for that. And obviously we'll get into the deeper parts of that later. But like, yeah, man, like that's when I realized, okay, yeah, Corey got some motion. I mean, he had that thing humming like a goddamn, hummingbird, and everyone running like everything he just said. His team, his managers, his leads, the guy that handles this machine, the guy that handles that machine, the girl that does this, everyone playing their freaking part.
Yeah.
At the highest level, finishing with the left. You know what I'm saying? But again, every part had to work for the whole thing to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I think about that trip from Utica to then you being with Air. And obviously just running the show there, bringing us in with Mud Brothers and really being that advocate and getting that show on the road, man. Like, you a black man in cannabis. And not just a black man in cannabis, you big dog. Talk your shit. Like, I get it. You're smart. You're diligent. You know how to run a team. But how do you do something that nobody else seems to be able to fucking do?
I think it's because, like I said, my mother was in the military. So I grew up as a military brat. I lived all over the country and the world and stuff. And my mother, to her credit, realized I'm a 5'2" woman raising a boy, a man, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't have all the time because, we're moving around. So sometimes we lived at my grandparents' house or my grandfather. But there's not necessarily a man there all the time. So she was hard on me,
sure.
right? My cousins used to be like, man, you spoiled, but you get your ass beat, right? And I was like, okay. But yeah, she was hard on me, but she really made it clear that you see the t-shirts now, no one cares, work harder. I learned that at 7. My grandmom used to tell me the term good, better, best, never let it rest till the good is better and your better is best. I know that since I was a kid, 6, right? That is something that I always remembered. It's it doesn't matter if you're good. Be better. Be the best. No one really cares. Just do what you got to do and get it, right? If I was Brandon, man, I'm in a spot, I'm broke, I need it. You might be able to help me with a job, a little something. But if your business isn't ready to take on another person, you can't really help me.
That's right.
I got to know how to go get it myself, right? Regardless, right? And then, as you become a man and you have a family, kids and a wife and things of that nature, there's no excuse. I can't go to my daughter and be like, I ain't got it this month.
Yeah.
Nah, you got to pay the bills. You got to figure it out. So that kind of mentality always stuck with me. It doesn't really matter. Go get it.
The show must go on.
Yeah. So, and I try to teach that to my employees that listen, we can sit here and bitch and complain about all the things wrong with the company, wrong with the building, wrong with this. We still got to come to work. Right? It doesn't actually matter. If you're here, you're here. Or, best to you, go find somewhere else. Right? But it don't matter.
It don't matter.
We here.
Yeah.
And you got to get it done.
We preach that on here, man. Control what you can control.
Yeah.
So much of our anxiety, our angst, and our depressing moments come from things that we have no control over.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I love it, man. I love controlling what you control. I love the fact that you demand success. You demand getting better. Because you're going to have some folks that just aren't as talented as others.
Yeah.
What I expect from you may not be what I expect from you. But whoever's showing up, slapping the floor, getting in that stance and getting it done, that's what's going to carry us, man. So I want to get into a little more of what you're doing these days, right? So we know how you got in the industry, man. We know how you went to Air. You're now at Ascend.
Hey,
huh?
Just make sure you beep that.
I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah.
You good?
So we know you. Let me reword it. Let's bring it back. We know you worked at all these different MSOs. You obviously got some things going on now with an independent operator. But just walk us through a day in your life outside of your team. What are the things you worry about? What are the things you're measuring? What are the things you are doing from an operational perspective?
Yeah, so my normal day, I'm up at 5 a.m. First thing I do, drive to Jersey City, check out my dispensary that's about to open in a little while, called The Other Side Dispensary, 36 in Congress Street.
Shout out to him.
In Jersey City. My partner, Eliza Brevard Rodriguez. I go there first, go check out everything, make sure everything looks the way it's supposed to look. Right, this past couple months we've been on construction, so taking pictures of the construction, where we're at on construction, send that out to our team so everyone has that to start their day. Drive back across the state to the MSO I work at, help run that facility and some other facilities as well. And then going through those meetings, going through all that stuff, come back home, cook dinner for my kids, spend time with my family, kids asleep, or whatever me and my wife got to do. And then I'm back on the computer working usually. So usually my employees are my managers learn real quick, like, oh, getting a 11:30 midnight email from Corey is not crazy. Now I tell them, I was like, kill your notifications. Like, I'm not expecting you to get it, but this is when I'm working,
Yeah.
right? So my normal workday starts at 5 a.m. when I get up. Usually ends around midnight, 12:30 a.m. And that's just how I work.
No, like yeah, obviously you're a father, you're a husband, you're a hard worker, you're a leader. Like talk about that a little bit, just that work-life balance component. Like when I was in corporate America, I struggled with it.
Yeah.
I was a guy that was like yourself, was up 6 a.m., but I was just work, 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 laptop, 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 email, email, email. I struggled getting home at night to be with the kids and the wife. I struggled prioritizing those things. But I was also a lot younger. But it seems like you have a pretty good grip on it.
No,
No, okay, so
no,
yeah, so
no. I think I suck at it.
okay.
And it's one of those things you just apologize to your wife. Now, granted, I have an amazing wife who's very successful in her own right. So to some extent, she understands that because the trials and tribulations of her own job, but she's extremely successful. So we figure it out and we balance it. And sometimes it's, hey, I'm working late. Can you get the kids? Or hey, I'm working late. Can you get the kids? Or I have to go away for a trip. I need you to take the kids to school this week, right? And like so, we balance. Is that healthy communication? What do I think about me? I think I suck at it personally, because I know I'm even when I'm not working. I have my outlooks on my phone. I'm scrolling, looking at emails while I'm working, right? And it's a balancing. Now the main thing is I make sure I get home, have that dinner time and that little bit of time with my kids, so my kids and I interact and have each other every day, right? And then when I'm away on trips, I don't care what time zone I'm waking up at the time when my kids are waking up to FaceTime or whatever with them. So like when I'm on the West Coast, I'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning when it's 7 o'clock here on the East Coast, just to have interaction with them. I think that's most important. Like they need to see me and I need to see them every day.
That's hard.
Period.
No, that's hard, man. Well, listen, before I get you out of here, brother, what's next for you, man? Like, obviously you got your eyes on the other side opening up in a few weeks. That's exciting. Can't wait to come to that grand opening and just see you and Eliza, all the hard work you guys have put in, the whole squad. But like, just tell me, like, walk me through the next 12, 18 months of your life.
Well, we have our podcast, Coffee and Cannabis. We'll see how I think we're going to switch it up a little bit going forward.
Okay.
Just because with the workload of the dispensary opening, so we got that. I still plan to work in the MSO capacity industry because I think it's important to exist in the market, right? Like if I just stop and run our dispensary, I'm in a position now where I know what we're doing and I got to
sure.
go out there and look at the market, but I actively work in the market, right? I help dictate change in the market now.
For sure.
And I think there's a value to that. And I think there's a value to continuing to give opportunities to others and working with my team and continue to foster and grow other people. So I plan to continue to do that. And then I actually want to get into some real estate.
Really?
Yeah, I got own some property. I need some working on now that I've built a foundation, I'm working on the generational wealth part of it.
Okay.
So
okay.
I gotta build some things to pass on to my daughter and my son.
For sure.
When they're ready to take over the world and stuff.
You looking to go the residential route, the commercial route? I might know a thing or two. I can help you
A couple things. Yeah, I'm gonna buy some things.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna buy some things. We're gonna see in and out the country.
No. Oh, excuse me.
Listen, the reality is, anything you do, any group of people you're with, you don't need to be the smartest, or you don't need to be the smartest at everything. And I've been blessed enough that the team, Eliza and I, have cultivated at TOSS specifically, are phenomenal. And we're all good at different things, right? We come I'm not a person that's normally going to be out in front of a camera, or building a brand and all that stuff. Eliza is fantastic at that, right? Knows how to build a brand, knows how to market, really knows how to do that and engage and all that kind of stuff. So I'm learning a lot from her in that respect. We have investors that work in insurance, investors that work in real estate and own property. So I'm leaning on those resources to learn. Like,
For sure.
I'm not just sitting here like, oh, I'm here. Like, nah, you do real estate. I need to know. Explain this to me. How does this loan work? How does this go?
Yep.
Oh, you understand how this works? All right, teach me how this.
Yep.
How did you make that decision? For me, it's important to use and be used, right? I want the people that are around me to feel that they can use me. and I want to use them.
You know, I'm so glad you said that. And I know we're finishing up.
No,
I
you're fine,
just want a few more minutes because that's where I think the world changed, and only a few of us picked up on it. There was a time where you were taught you never use your friends, right? You're my friend because you just think I'm a nice guy.
Nah.
I'm your friend. There was a time though where that was very prevalent in our society.
Yeah.
Present day, post COVID, use me. What you around for?
Shit,
what am I around for?
I'm hard on my friends.
Like you feel me though? It's like even if it's just using me for information, even if it's just using me to bounce an idea off of because you know I'm gonna give it to you straight. Like there's things that your friends are good at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I have my same thing. I have my team of my confidants. You know, that's my boy Justin, my boy Ed, my boy Kay, my cousin Ricky. Like that, I bring things to, and you know, I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I talk to my frat brothers and my line brothers, and that. Like, I need to know. I want to learn. Like, right? Like when my frat brother gets a promotion, you know, we talk. Hey, how much you making? And he tell me, I'm like, I need to make more. I got to work harder, right? Thank you for that motivation. I'm not hating. The drinks are on you next time, but thank you for that motivation. I got to do better, right? Or when one of my boys is messing up, you know, he's not handling the family right, and things ain't right, and you know, it starts spilling over outside of his house into, you know, cookouts, whatever, into your house. Hey, man, you got to tighten that up. Yeah, hey, you got to do better.
Well, see, you know, the thing I think a lot of relationships fail on is that it's so transactional. Yeah. If you think that way, many don't even think that way. But if you think that way, it's so you gave me a pencil, I give you a pencil. I don't view it that way. You might come to me today, and I might be able to help you with something magical. Yeah, I might not need you to help me with something for 3 years.
Correct.
Right, but it's the fact that we as friends understand that. Okay, Brendan's really good at that. Corey's really good at that. Look at us. I mean, I try to leave you alone as much as I can. I know you're busy. But we launching Mud Brothers. I'm like, Corey, I need you, brother. Like, get on the phone. I need to understand how this shit works. I need to know how this like we had to have those conversations.
Yeah, but like even with that, right? So you already had 420 NJ events. You had MCA, and you're like, hey, we're doing Mud Brothers, and I'm like, all right, well, come over here to Air, and let's see what we could do. And you're like, and you and Stan, I know, are two different versions of smokers, right? Stan likes concentrates. You were more a flower smoker.
For sure.
So, of course, y'all walk in there like, yeah, we need flower. By the way, everyone walks in there and says we need flower. Like, congrats on being one of 1,000, right? We need flower. We're going to do pre-rolls. We need the best bud. Y'all got bud. It's like, yo, I don't have bud to give away to you right now. I told you straight up.
Straight
I
up.
ain't got it.
He was honest.
And I was like, but we got a really good solventless lab. We're making kick-ass rosin. There's no rosin in the market. At the time, there's only one, and it was medical, not rec. Why aren't you launching a rosin line? And you know, and that was also me appealing to Stan. Just like I know what you like. We do it really well. No one else does it. You're entering the market wrong. And luckily enough, I was able to convince y'all.
Real shit.
Right, and now it's been muddy since. But like that's what it is. It's yo, I'm here to be used. If I'm already in the industry. And right, like we're on two different sides of the industry. You're in the communal base of the industry, the culture base of the industry. I'm in the making the good part of the industry. Both got our part.
Well, sure.
And we should be able to play off of that, work together, understand things, right? You know, I'm like, yo, how's Mud Brothers doing? What kind of numbers? Because I need that information for me to understand. Like, okay, I can play it against this, play it against. Like, I need to understand. In the same way, I'm like, hey, come look at this. These people are growing good weed. These people are doing this. Here's a new product that's coming out. Why does your packaging look like this? Because we all got to play over each other. I fully believe the point of having a tight crew or people you really are vested with is we need to use each other. Yeah. Because you can't get there by yourself. Yeah, well, you can't get there by yourself. Like, listen, you know, I'm not doing scripture, but what does it begot the man that gains the world and loses his soul? Like, there's no point getting there by yourself.
Real shit.
Like, it just, you're going to be on the private plane by yourself, flying to somewhere no one else can afford to go to because you ain't bring nobody with you. Yeah.
But that's why it's so important having that crew that understands that, right? Because when you grow, especially grow as rapidly as we do in this industry, you know what I'm saying? You got to have cats with you that just know you, understand you, that you can have that, you know, level head conversation with that aren't going to take it personal. Like, I love the fact that, like, with me and Stan, like, we could check each other. Absolutely. We know it's no hate. We know it's not coming from a bad place. It's strictly like we've been friends for 25 years, man. And like, you know, what I mean, we know what the other one is. We know what the other one ain't, and we just play on that, you know. Yeah. So that's critical, bro. But yeah, man, listen, I know you got to get out of here. I appreciate you staying and kicking it with us, sharing so much insight, man. We got to bring you back, of course. How do people find you online, man?
Well, LinkedIn is just Corey Jackson. You find me. You can look for me on IG, but that shit is private. So if I don't know you, then I don't know you. It's Jack Cornelius. It's just my name backwards.
Yeah,
Corey
okay,
Jackson.
okay.
But you know, I'm out and about. I'll be at NECAN supporting y'all.
Nah, appreciate you, bro.
I try to slide through the MJ BizCon.
You coming to the? I mean, with NECAN, you coming to the after party?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Oh, okay. I figured as much. All right. Well, listen, man. Been another episode, guys, of the Smoking Business Podcast. I'm your host, Brennan Robinson. Lord of the North. Winter is coming. Peace.
Peace.